It is dangerous to stand against a child of God. Yet many people move through life smiling while hiding harmful intentions in their hearts. Some who oppose you stay close, acting pleased with your progress, but secretly working against you. They speak your name into places meant to restrain, hoping to slow your life and block your path. This is no longer a season for tears or endless questions about lost jobs, broken relationships, or unexplained illnesses. This is more than chance. It is a spiritual battle. There are those who do not want you to rise, and they have carried your name to dark places and hidden gatherings. But you are not meant to suffer quietly anymore. For a long time, you have endured pain, disgrace, lack, betrayal, and delay while pretending to be strong. Yet inside, your spirit has felt weighed down and buried. They placed your name in the sand, believing you would never rise again. But now the time has come to return what was sent to you. If sand was used to restrain you, sand will be used for your release, sending every burden back to its source. This is not revenge. It is spiritual justice. When done the right way for only 3 days, everything sent against you will return with greater force. Those working in secret will either confess, be exposed for who they truly are, or fall by the same altars they built to cause harm. This is the reality your opponents fear you discovering, because the moment you understand it, their schemes lose power. Have you ever wondered why certain struggles seem endless despite constant prayer? Could it be that something was done against you in the unseen, and your spirit has been seeking release without your awareness? Now, you are about to understand a spiritual means that has always been within reach. The ground beneath you becomes a symbol of release, progress, and justice. This is the moment to rise from the dust and cast off every burden. Once this understanding settles in, you will no longer live as a victim. I will show you how to use what's beneath your feet so hidden agendas are exposed and defeated. There is a truth about sand that many believers have ignored. Yet, in the spiritual realm, it is considered powerful for both protection and destruction. Those who work in dark practices understand that sand carries identity, footsteps, presence, and movement. Since humanity was formed from the earth, sand is used to bind destinies, delay advancement, and silence people in the spirit. When sand is taken from where you walked, from your home, or from your belongings, and your name is spoken over it and buried, it is more than a ritual. It becomes a spiritual confinement, using the ground itself to restrict your future. What is often hidden is that this same sand can also be used to reverse harm. Just as it can carry a mark, it can also carry declarations of freedom, release, and justice. When someone carrying God's authority speaks to it, there is a reason Jesus once wrote on the ground and why prophets knelt to pray upon the earth. It was not symbolic alone, it was power connected to creation itself. Sand responds to voice, to breath, and to intent. When you take sand and speak to it in faith, you activate a system of divine judgment already placed within the earth. What is done in darkness can be undone in the light. What was hidden can be uncovered. What was sealed can be broken apart. The sand used to restrain you is not greater than the authority within you to command release. This is why some feel weak, uneasy, or confused when stepping on ground that has been used for harmful rituals without knowing. The residue of bondage remains until someone rises with authority to shatter it. That is why this practice is not for show. It is about taking control. You are not begging the sand to walk. You are telling it to line up with God's justice and to refuse every evil word spoken over it. If you have been dreaming of walking through dust, being buried, losing your shoes in muddy places, or being pulled under the ground, these are signs that your future has been caught in the world of sand. And yet, you can take it back. The moment you gather a little bit of clean sand with the plan to break free, you have already started a spiritual fight. Because every little bit of sand on earth can become a witness, a record, or a men's weapon based on how it is used. When it begins under God's command, it releases a movement of judgment that no altar, shrine, or spell can withstand. Many remain bound because they never speak to creation itself. Fast and pray, yet ignore the physical elements that were used against them. Creation is waiting for instruction, waiting for your voice. When you speak to sand, you are not addressing death, but the earliest substance of life, and it responds. This is why this truth must be taken seriously. If others had the boldness to place your name and your family into the soil for harm, then you must have the boldness to remove it and return it. When sand hears God's authority through you, it turns against wicked plans, overturns attacks, and transforms them into exposure and disgrace. In the same manner they hid your name, their own evil will turn back on them. When you rise to speak over sand with understanding and God's backing, your voice becomes judgment. Your words carry power, and those who oppose you may begin to reveal the truth without knowing why. That is the strength of this. But it must be done over 3 days, not carelessly, not in fear, but with boldness and divine guidance. Whoa. Hence, sand is used under God's command. Even the darkest forces are unsettled. The process begins on the day your spirit feels most worn down, when you have reached your limit and are ready to break free from every chain holding you back. On the first day, rise before sunrise. Clean your hands and face with pure water, declaring that you are washing away every tie to harmful covenants. Go outside with no shoes on if you can touch the earth, and take a handful of clean, dry sand and put it in a small bowl or container. Hold it in your hand and start to speak to it. You must say, every curse buried in the ground with my name, every evil altar raised against me using sand. Today I reverse your assignment. As I return this sand to the earth, let every evil go back to the sender. Speak with courage. Name the things you have suffered: poverty, betrayal, delay, sickness, and command every buried word to break by fire. Then walk to a tree, a riverbank, or a quiet place outside and pour the sand back on the ground while facing the east. Do not look back. Leave it there and walk away without speaking. On the second day, do the same thing, but now say that the sand will start to confuse every watching spirit, every evil watcher, and every familiar spirit tied to your life. Say, as I release this sand, I scatter their meetings. I blind their eyes and I dry up their altars. Wherever they buried my name, may their hands catch fire. As you speak, shake the sand in your hand a little as a sign of shaking of bondage. You must not do this in fear. That your voice must carry the authority of someone who knows the kingdom of darkness is shaking. Again, go to a different place outside and let the sand go while speaking judgment out loud. On the third day, the practice becomes the strongest. On this day, you will get up early, put oil on your forehead and your feet, and speak over the sand one last time, but this time call for God's justice. Say, as I return this sand to the groove, ND, let every hidden enemy be seen. Let their secrets come out, and let every spiritual coffin they made for me become their own. I buried their wickedness under this earth and seal it with fire. This is the day when many people start to see things happen. Sudden dreams of snakes dying, old friends telling the truth, or people getting sick and asking for mercy. After letting the last bit of sand go, go back home quietly and put oil on your doorway. Do not gossip or talk too much that day. Stay in a place of worship and quiet. This practice is not witchcraft. It is a spiritual turning around of evil plans using one of God's first creations. The earth was not made for you to be buried in the spirit, but to carry your blessing. When you finish the 3 days, thank God for showing your enemies, for lifting your name from the dust, and for turning the enemy's weapon back to their own camp. Do not go looking for results. They will come by themselves. Just as the enemies send trouble to you quietly, their defeat will come loudly. Some will call you crying. Others will dream of you chasing them. And some will even start to avoid you because they now fear what you carry. This is how the sand works. Quietly, powerfully, and directly, you have taken what was meant for your destruction and used it for your freedom. This practice will change your spiritual weather forever. And once you have done it with understanding and faith, you will never go back to who you were. You will walk with courage, knowing that every bit of sand under your feet now carries your authority. You will walk with confidence, knowing that God gave you power over creation and that your enemies can no longer hide in the dark while burying your future, because now you know how to send it all back to the sender. After finishing the sand practice for 3 days, things begin to change in the spiritual world with force and clarity. You may start to have dreams where the people who have been behind your problems suddenly look confused, are shown for who they are, or are asking for mercy. Some people say they see snakes cut into pieces, witches telling the truth in public, or strange birds falling dead outside their houses. These are not just accidents. There are signs that the sand has started its proper job of judgment. The most surprising part is when someone who seemed nice suddenly stays away from you, starts to act scared, or even says things they never meant to say. Their tongues become loose and their secrets start to chase them. Some people have told how enemies who once stood strong against them began to get sick in a strange way, lose their own protection, or be troubled by the very spirits they sent. Because when you send back what they buried, the spirits that were sent to trouble, you turn around and start troubling the sender. You might start getting unexpected apologies, strange messages, or direct fights, as those who once walked in the shadows can no longer hide. Their cover has been taken off and they know it. Some will cry in your dreams, asking you to forgive them. Others may try to pay you or confuse you to stop what you have done. But do not be afraid. When it is carried out correctly and under God's authority, a process of judgment is set in motion that cannot be reversed by dark forces. This is a season to remain prayerful, calm, and alert. During this time, your spiritual awareness will sharpen. You will perceive more clearly, grasp things more quickly, and sense shifts around certain people. Light has entered, and darkness cannot resist it. Those who once held influence over you will feel unsettled in your presence. The same earth used to confine your life now works against them, carrying your voice and God's justice wherever it reaches. At times, within 3 days of completion, the source of your struggles may face public disgrace, legal trouble, illness, or severe consequences if they refuse to change. This is not driven by your desire, but by a decision made in God's court. What many do not realize is that the earth itself answers to what is wrong. When someone uses creation to destroy a child of God, that same creation rises to protect the innocent. That is why after this practice, stories of success start to come in. People say job offers suddenly appear. Long court cases are won. Peace in marriage comes back and strange burdens lift from their lives. Things you tried for years to do suddenly start to move. Your money gets better. Your health comes back. Your joy returns. It is not magic. It is God putting things back in order. You call back what was stolen. You dug up what was buried. You reverse what was cursed. And the results show it is true. The fear of God will fall on those who thought they could ruin your life in silence. Now they see you have found spiritual knowledge that shows hidden things and stops wickedness. And from now on, the spiritual world knows your voice. The sand remembers you. The earth will now work for you. And your enemies will never forget the day they tried to bury you and ended up digging their own graves. Now that you have seen what sand can do in the spiritual world, it is time to look inside and ask yourself a serious question. How long have you put up with what God never called you to accept? How many years have you suffered quietly while your enemies celebrated over your very future? How many times have you fasted and prayed without knowing that a simple thing like sand could hold the key to your freedom? This is your awakening. This is the moment your eyes must open not only to who your enemies are, but to who you are in the spirit. You are not weak. You are not helpless. You are not a victim. You are a spiritual fighter with God's authority over creation. And the fact that you now know how to use sand for fighting is a sign that your training is done. You have been awakened for a reason. Your delay, your loss, your shame, your cycles of almost but never, none of it was by chance. It was an evil plan meant to bury you alive. But God allowed it so that when you rise with fire, you rise with understanding. You rise with scars that now carry wisdom, and you rise with authority that no one can take from you again. You now understand that spiritual fights need spiritual weapons, and sometimes the strongest weapon is not the loudest prayer, but the most exact action. Speaking to sand may seem odd to the natural mind, but in the spirit world, it is a statement of control, a saying that you refuse to let the enemy use what God created for your blessing. This is why you must never go back to the days when you beg people to love you, when you explain yourself to people who were secretly trying to ruin you, or when you put up with delay thinking it was just bad luck. Now you know better. Now you understand that some delays are spiritual traps buried where you can see them. And now that you have broken those traps, it is time to walk in a new way. It's time to stop hiding your power. Stop quieting your gifts. Stop saying sorry for your anointing and stop making yourself small to fit in places you were called to lead. This sand practice has woken up something old inside of you, something that was buried but never dead. And now that it is alive again, your enemies will never sleep. I well again, because when a child of God wakes up with knowledge, hell starts to panic. You have now become a spiritual threat. You have become a voice of judgment to wicked altars. You have become the fulfillment of God's promise that those who dig a hole will fall into it themselves. And you must never forget this change. Guard it. Take care of it. Make it grow and teach others what you have learned. Because this level of awakening is not only for you, it is for your family. Your freedom is their future. Your courage is their protection. And your voice is now a trumpet in the spirit. Walk. Speak with it, declare with it, and never go back to not knowing about the spirit again. Now, I want you to stand and speak this with fire in your voice. Not as someone who hopes to be free, but as someone who knows freedom has already been spoken. Say this: I stand upon the earth as one who carries God's authority. I speak to every grain of sand that was used to cost me, bury my name, delay my life, or destroy my future. Hear the voice of the Lord through me and refuse every evil word spoken against me. I command you, O sand, to become a weapon of judgment against every wicked altar raised in my name. Let those who buried my name in darkness be shown by the light. Let every witch, every warlock, every sorcerer who touched sand to hurt me fall into their own pit. I start spiritual reversal. I speak back to the sender. Let their curses go back much stronger. Let their rituals fail. Let their watching spirits go blind. Let their wicked hands become weak. Let their tongues that spoke evil be made quiet. Let their meetings be scat, arid by fire. I call upon the sand to carry my cry, to carry my command, and to carry my justice. Now pause and feel that authority rising. This is not normal talk. This is your spirit waking up for battle. Say this next: I take back my name from every grave. I dig up my star. I take back my voice, my health, my wealth, my destiny. As I hold this hand, I hold a sign of control. As I let this sand go, I release judgment. No weapon made against me will succeed. No spell or magic will stay on my life. I say that from today. The earth will be good to me. The ground will give blessings to me, and my footsteps will lead to plenty, and no one will ever bury me again in the spirit or in the body before my time. Now say with courage, I cancel every evil plan written in the dust. I wipe away every agreement sealed with soil. I break every burial practice done with my clothes, my hair, my name, or my picture. I call fire down on every evil that came from sand. I say a heavenly turning over of every demonic judgment. Let confusion go into the camp of my enemies. Let their plans turn into dust. Let the same sand they used against me carry their own ruin. And let every mouth that laughed at me be short for good. This is your final move, your mark of spiritual battle. Speak it and believe it. From this day I walk with power. From this day I speak and the earth answers. From this day my enemies will run when they hear my name. And from this day I say anyone who touches me or my family will pay with their own blood. It is written and it is done. Back to the sender in the name of the Most High God. Stay quiet for a moment after saying these words. Let your spirit receive what your mouth has just sent out. This is not a game. This is a spiritual weapon. And now that it has been started, the war has turned to help you. Let the sun speak now that you have finished this path of learning, fighting, and restoration. Do not keep this knowledge for yourself. Too many people are hurting in silence, suffering attacks they cannot understand, and losing fights they do not even know have spiritual causes. You have been given this wisdom not only to guard yourself, but to help others become free. There is someone out there right now whose name is buried under sand, whose future has been caught under the weight of a curse, and they are calling for help without even knowing what is wrong. You can be the one to share this light. You can be the one to open the door for their freedom. Do not wait. Share these words with your family, your friends, your prayer group, and even those who used to make fun of your spirituality. Let them see that the same sound they walk on carries power when it is woken up by God's command. Let them hear the truth. And when you do, tell them not to play with this teaching. Tell them to get ready in the spirit, to follow the steps with care, and to trust God completely as they act. This is not a superstition. It is not a fashion. It is God's know. DGE that has set thousands free over many years. If you are hearing this and you feel fire in your bones that is not by chance, God is tearing your spirit because you have been picked as a protector for your family. You are the one that breaks the patterns. You are the one who does not die poor, quiet, or hidden. You are the one who turns back every arrow sent by jealous family, false friends, old lovers, evil co-workers, and local witches. And you must be ready. So do not just listen again. Let the message go deep into your bones. Let the teaching enter your spirit. And once you have done the practice, tell what happened. Leave your story so others can be given hope. Tell us what dreams you heard, what good things came, what truths you heard. We are making a group of fighters, not victims. We are raising voices that break evil agreements. And every story makes another person stronger as they rise up to fight. Do not forget to follow Joshua's Selman wisdom if you have not yet. Here we do not make truth sweet. Here we show darkness. Here we pray, we learn, we fight, and we win. If this word spoke to you, show it so the system knows this message is important. Leave a comment to say your freedom, your fire, and your fight. And most important, share this with speed. The same way which is moving quiet, we must now move with understanding. Let this message go to all the earth. Let the hot people hear and rise. Let the quiet ones find their voice. Let the buried ones stand up, and let every altar built in the ground be broken by the voice of knowledge. This is Joshua Selman. Wisdom where truth meets healing and wisdom wakes up restoration. This is the moment you stop being a target and start becoming a threat to every dark altar. The knowledge you now carry is a weapon they cannot disarm. Your voice, once silenced by their rituals, now carries the decree of heaven. Your footsteps, once tracked for their evil purposes, now mark a part of divine reclamation. The same earth that held you down is now rising to defend you. Do not underestimate the shift that has taken place. You have been initiated into a realm of spiritual authority where your words shape reality and your commands activate creation itself. You might feel a new strength growing inside you. That is not your imagination. It is the awakening of the dominion God placed within you from the beginning. The feeling of heaviness lifting. That is the sand releasing your name from its prison. The sudden clarity in your mind. That is the confusion they sent being scattered back to its source. The energy returning to your body. That is the life they tried to bury now resurrecting. These are not small signs. They are confirmations that the spiritual world is responding to your firm commands. Now, let me show you how to maintain this victory and ensure no one can ever bury you again. The battle does not end with the 3 today ritual. That was your declaration of war. What follows is your establishment as a permanent force in the spirit realm. You must understand that your enemies will try to counterattack. They will send new attacks, try new methods, and attempt to make you doubt what you have accomplished. This is why you must stand firm in your new authority. Every morning from now on, step outside and place your bare feet on the ground. Feel the connection between your spirit and the earth. Speak to the soil beneath you and declare, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No ritual performed in secret shall stand. Every curse returns to its sender. Every altar raised against me falls by fire." This daily practice creates a spiritual barrier around you that repels darkness automatically. The earth becomes your ally, your witness, and your defender. When you walk, understand that your footprints now carry authority. Wherever you step, you are claiming that ground for God's kingdom. You are sanctifying the earth beneath your feet. Those who once collected your footprints to use against you will now find that same soil testifying against them. Your footsteps now carry blessing rather than vulnerability. The ground you walk on becomes holy ground that rejects wicked assignments. If you ever feel that familiar spirit of oppression trying to return, do not panic. Go immediately to any patch of earth, pick up a handful of soil, and speak directly to it. I break every renewed assignment. I cancel every fresh curse. I send back every new attack. Then throw that soil toward the east, symbolizing the complete removal of whatever darkness was coming against you. This simple act maintains your victory and keeps the enemy on the defensive. Remember that your voice has now been registered in the spiritual realm as a voice of authority. The same way kings have authority in their kingdoms, you now carry authority over the elements that were used against you. Sand, soil, dust. These elements now recognize your voice and respond to your commands. Do not speak carelessly. Your words carry power. Your declarations shape realities. Your decrees establish heavenly order. Some of you will begin to notice physical changes in your environment as a result of this awakening. Plants may flourish near your home. Animals may behave differently around you. The atmosphere in your space may feel lighter. These are natural responses to your spiritual transformation. Creation recognizes when a child of God steps into their authority and responds accordingly. The earth is eager to cooperate with those who walk in divine purpose. Your dreams will change. Where you once dreamed of being buried, you will now dream of flying. Where you saw yourself trapped, you will see yourself leading armies where you witnessed dark ceremonies. You will begin to notice signs of opposition collapsing and resistance turning back. Take note of your dreams. They serve as confirmation of your changed spiritual standing. They signal that the season of burial has ended and a rising has begun. Do not be shocked if those who once caused harm suddenly seek closeness. They will sense the shift within you and be drawn to the light you now carry without understanding why. Move with wisdom. Not everyone should have access to what you now hold. Some may attempt to weaken you or observe you in order to respond against you. Guard your space. Preserve your strength. Smiles do not always mean loyalty. Your awareness has grown. Use it well. The wealth that was blocked will begin to flow. The opportunities that were hidden will start to appear. The relationships that were broken will be restored or replaced with better ones. This is not magic. It is the natural consequence of removing spiritual blockages. When the curses are broken, blessings flow naturally. When the burial ends, resurrection begins. When the silence is broken, testimony emerges. Teach this to your children. Show them how to walk in authority. Explain to them that the ground beneath their feet is their friend in ode to their enemy. Teach them to speak to creation with respect and authority. This knowledge must become your family's inheritance. The cycle of generational struggle ends with you, and the flow of generational blessing begins through you. What you endured will not be passed on if you prepare those who come after you. Even if you live in a place where soil is not easily reached, the truth does not change. A houseplant holds earth. A public space has ground. Even dust within your home can serve as a point of connection for your words. Wherever there is earth, there is room to exercise spiritual authority. The whole world was formed from elements that respond to God's voice and to yours. Some will criticize this message and label it superstition or error. Let them speak. While they argue beliefs, you are gaining ground. While others debate approaches, you are stepping into release. The outcome speaks for itself, and the change in you is the evidence. Those who have truly been oppressed understand that spiritual battles require spiritual tools. Those who have never faced such struggles cannot judge the path of deliverance. Now make one last proclamation. Rise where you are and say these words with resolve. From this moment on, I cannot be buried. I cannot be restrained. I cannot be stopped. No weapon formed against me will succeed. No spoken curse will take hold. No altar built against me will stand. The ground bears witness. The earth stands with me. The sun declares my victory. I walk in dominion. I live with authority. I rule in power. This is my lasting declaration. This is my unbreakable covenant. This is my victorious destiny. The change cannot be reversed. The transformation will last. The triumph is settled. You are no longer who you were when you began reading this. You are a fighter. You are an overcomer. You are a challenge to darkness. Now live in that truth. Move in it. Speak from it. Rule with it. The one who was hidden has risen. The one who was muted now has a voice. The one who was restrained now gives commands. This is who you are now. This is your lasting reality. This reflects Joshua Selman wisdom, where captives rise as rulers and the wounded emerge as conquerors.